Good evening and welcome to the DeKalb County 4-H Lamb Show tonight. We are just starting the second half of our show tonight. These are the market lambs coming in. We just finished up our breeding U division earlier in the day, and now we are just starting. We got a class of 1 here and out here. Leah Crusher out there. She's got a 109-pound nice little market lamb out there. Judge is taking a look at this lamb, getting him all set up. These kids are out here competing tonight at the fair, trying to show off the work that they've been working on all year round. Some of these kids have been working ever since February, March, when they got their lambs purchased. She's going to work real hard to set her lamb up here so that the judge can take a real nice look at what she's been working on in her project. Well, there you heard a little bit about what our judge was looking for tonight, and her lamb. Now, she's the only one in her class, but that'll qualify her to come back out for the drive later on because she was first in her class. Now, this next class, class number 10, has 3 contestants. Those 3 contestants will become, these lambs are a little bit heavier. They range from 117 to 139. Of course, the lambs coming in trying to compete against lambs of their own weight, okay? So didn't want to put that last lamb in the same class of 109 because that's tough for a lamb that might not be quite as finished to compete with some of these other lambs that have got a little bit more time and put a little bit muscle on and been able to finish a little bit more. You'll take a notice that these lambs right here are obviously just a little bit heavier than that last class of lambs. Kids have got them slick shorn. You can see the judge getting his hands on them, checking that loin across the back. You'll see the kids have got them all trimmed up so the judge can get a really good look at what he's got. With me tonight, Fiona Edwards and Mackenzie Taggart helping out from our BTV studios. Mackenzie, you've had a good day here at the fair?
Yeah, it's been really busy, but it's been fun.
I know you've had a long day, the rabbit show. There's so many rabbits out there,
Yeah.
but isn't that fun to see so many rabbits out there today? And you guys did a great job so they could see that. Well, these kids are bringing their lambs around the arena now. They're going to try to set them up so the judge can get a good flank side, take a nice look at them and see what they look like from the side. He got his hands on them a little bit ago. You saw the judge walk out there. He wants to feel them. What kind of loins do they have? You know, how much fat have they got developing across there? You can kind of tell when you get your hands up on them. He's also looking, these kids are trying to set their lambs up so they look long. These kids want that judge to be able to see those lambs like they'd be going to market. And that's why these are our market lambs. Obviously, you know, when I'm out there trying to get my hands on something, I'm looking, you know, am I going to have a nice pork chop or a lamb chop, we call it in the sheep show, across the back? And am I going to have a nice leg of lamb? And am I going to have some nice roasts out of that particular market lamb? Because that's what we're after. A market lamb that's going to get to the market and provide the type of cut that our buyers want. These kids are competing. Now, they're also trying to work their way in up to the final drive tonight. Are they going to be the champion market lamb here? And they'll all come back in here and they'll take a look at a little bit. Kenzie, have you been picking out some champions as we've gotten through the day today?
Yeah, I don't know. I think. Oh, sorry. I think a few of them you can tell like these kids work really hard with their lambs, and other ones I think they're just scared. Like the lambs are scared.
Well, there is a big difference. You know, we'll listen to what our judge has to say here.
shape and power. Probably one of the things that he gets a little more time on feet. Go ahead and join us and congratulate these competitors.
Well, there you heard what our judge has to say, you know, and that kind of tells us what he's looking for as we go through the rest of the night. Now, kids, one thing we have to note to our audiences, too, you know, each one of these classes are showing in their breed. Every breed has different qualities. That first class we saw in were, you know, they came in here and we were taking a look at a different type of sheep. And as those dropers was in it, even though there's only one in this class, the Dorsets had 3 in their class. This next group coming in is our Hampshires, a little different sheep. You know, back when I was raising a lot of sheep, we were big Suffolk people, but a lot of our friends were showing Hampshires, and you can see them coming in. Known to be a little bit longer. You can see how much longer their loin is across the back, you know, and they're going to compete against each other. And it's more than just a color thing. You probably noticed the last one's coming in had really pretty white legs, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Fiona likes that because she likes her chickens looking all fluffy and stuff like that when she's raising them, too.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, what we're looking for here is, again, though, the judge is going to get his hands on these sheep right here, and he's going to take a look at, okay, are they filling out? Is there good quality loin there? Am I going to get a nice cut coming across the back right there? Are they filling out? And he's also checking later on to find out how much have they worked with this sheep. You put your hands on there and that sheep takes off. I have to ask myself sometimes how much my contestants worked with it. Now, remember right now the contestant's not being judged. That doesn't come till later in the night during showmanship. But right now we're just judging the sheep. So no matter what happens with that, later on we're going to take a look at showmanship. Right now we're only judging the quality of the lamb right now.
And I mean, sometimes, you know, it's not even the handler's fault. Sometimes the sheep is just like that.
Yeah, you know, there is no doubt that I think back over all the animals that my boys have shown, and we buy the best steer we could buy, and all of a sudden he turned out to be, you know, just kind of crazy fair week, you know. So now they're coming around and trying to get a nice side shot. Great shot from the top right there. Whoa, Kenzie took us on a little ride there. Testing out some new cameras we've got mounted in the ceiling here so that we can get a nice look at our sheep and find out who's there and what they look like. Our judge, again, getting a side view of this here nice class of Hampshires. Out there, number 55, Addison Brown, showing her Hampshire at 122. Pearl Slentz, number 98, showing her lamb at 127. Paige Crusher, who was out there just a little bit ago with another sheep, 144 pounds. Kristen Haynes, 162. And then the top of the class, Avery Fuller, that's contestant number 80. She's got a lamb out there that's 174 pounds. Now, you might think 174 pounds is actually going to just do better automatically over a 122-pound lamb. But what we're really looking at is what was that extra 60 pounds? Was it just fat, or was there some actual muscling, some definition of meat, some more pricey cuts in there? Is that lamb a little longer? Is he a little taller? Does he have a little bit better leg, a little better leg of lamb, we like to say? So it doesn't mean that the biggest lamb's always going to win. It's the best lamb, the best quality of lamb. And, of course, our judge is looking them over right now for that. Kenzie, which one do you like here?
I don't know. I like that one that's walking away right now, number 62.
62, yeah. I tell you what, yeah, Kirsten Haynes. She's got a nice lamb there. She's working really hard to get it set up. She took a trip right there to show it off to the judge again. And occasionally you do that. I have it on this end here again. Maybe not quite set up like you wanted it to, so you get out there and you reset your lamb. Try to get some legs in there where the judge can take a look at it. Now, our judge right now is sending him out here and he's taking a look. He's looking for the top lamb. So typically he'll place that first place lamb down here closest to us. And he's putting them in the order from bottom to class. You just saw right there he went from the lightest lamb to the heaviest lamb in the class. And now he's in that medium range of the class in that 127 to 162 range right there, looking for that sheep that's going to be able to come in there and possibly walk away with our top here. Remember, each one of these contestants is trying to win their breed class, but they're also trying to win a trip back into what we call the Grand Drive. That's that coveted prize of being the grand champion sheep at the fair, being the first sheep sold at the auction. It's saying that no matter what breed you are part of, you have got a chance to be the very, very best sheep at the fair. Judge is still taking a look at him. Got a really nice class of Hampshire, so he's taking his time here, making sure that he does a really nice job with it. Those of you that are watching on Auburn Essentials, we are continually trying to get that done for you so that hopefully you have a really, really nice stream coming through tonight if you're watching live. So we hope that that's working for you. Our judge is continuing. If you do miss a show, feel free to log into our VOD player. That's like we call the Netflix player of DeKalb County, where you can watch all kinds of things from sporting events to community events to fine arts events to 4-H events, all filmed by our kids here working for BTV, just like Mackenzie and Fiona tonight. Our judge is really taking his time, Mackenzie. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it's really hard. These three that are left are really similar.
They are very similar, which I think that's a good point. The judge is taking his time because even he's having a hard time deciding for sure which one that he really wants to rise to the top.
I'm still feeling like the one on the end.
You're still pushing for
yeah,
her,
it
huh?
seems like its legs are the longest.
There she goes.
Oh.
Okay, there we go. Looks like 3:53. Okay, Paige Crusher. Well, there you heard it from our judge. He was impressed with the class. I couldn't agree with him more. I thought there were some really good market lambs out there. Every single one of those would go as a prime cut. I think the thing, too, to remember, earlier today we saw our ewe show, our market ewes. You know, we're looking for similar things. Like I bred and sold and fed out a lot of ewes to the market lamb. But you're looking for something different when you get to our market lambs out here, like this group that's coming in here, you know. Earlier in the day, we were looking for good breeding stock. Now we're looking for something that's going to hit the table and be out there. Now we got some natural colored ones, they call this class. The natural color, you can see they're just a little different. I like to say they're just a throw off of the old Suffolk breeds. Kind of reminds me of a lot of the off-colored black sheep we used to have. You guys used to sing the Ba Ba Black Sheep when you were a kid. Kenzie, you sing that song or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, so we used to say you keep one black sheep for every 100 sheep you own. So if you drove by somebody's field and you saw 3 black sheep out there, you knew you owned 300 sheep. Now, not so much to be truth anymore, because I'll be real honest with you, a lot of guys don't have 300 sheep around anymore.
Yeah.
And the breed is definitely changing. You know, what we used to call a Suffolk, now they just call straight up blackface sheep. I don't even think there's a class of Suffolk sheep here at the fair this year. So, you know, it's evolving. You know, you find different breeds and you find different sheep that are working for the market and bringing top dollar. And people keep raising that particular breed of sheep. Well, hey, we got another great class in here. Let's introduce these kids. You've got Cord Akey, number 49 from the Fairfield Farmers. Got a weight in there of 119 pounds. Going up to Lillian Crusher, 354. Okay, you just saw our sister in here a little bit ago. She's got a lamb of 124 pounds out there. Number 121, Dale Caden. He's got a lamb out there of 129 pounds. And Andrew McLean, number 103, with that top of the class down there at 147 pounds for these natural colored lambs. So far, the best lamb of the night, I believe, is out of that Hampshire class. I'll make a prediction early. I haven't even seen the rest of the sheep right now, but I believe that top sheep in that Hampshire class has the ability to make a run in the final drive tonight. He's got everything that I agree with the judge, had everything set up correct, and it's going to be a lamb that later on in the night I think we're going to see some really, really good accolades for. But we'll see how the rest of these classes shake out tonight. What color sheep you like best?
I don't know. I think I like the white ones the best.
The white one's the best. These black ones you don't particularly care about?
Well, I don't know. I don't really know a lot about sheep, but I like the really fluffy ones.
Well, maybe you'll know more about sheep tonight when we're done than you did when we started, at least.
Yeah.
Right? Quiz tonight at 9?
Oh. I don't know about that.
Well, Fiona, now if it's a chicken show, Fiona will be fine, all right? I'm assuming Fiona's going to be calling the chicken show. Fiona, you're going to be on the mic and help us out on the chicken show?
Well, I got to leave rehearsals early to do that.
Ooh, I thought the chicken show was scheduled during the day. Is it a night show? Could be.
I think it's the morning show.
No, it's at 4.
Is
I'm
it
pretty
tomorrow?
Sure.
Well, you cut that. You said something really close there.
Mine's at 8.
I'll throw out to all of our people out there. These kids are super
Poultry's
involved.
at 4, yep.
So, you know, my BTV crew, they run everywhere between their athletic events. They run to their theater events, their band events, their choir events. They're just crazily busy. But we appreciate them and their dedication to bring this to our community and capture some of this 4-H for us so that you can take a look at what's happening and get a glimpse inside the DeKalb County 4-H Fair, even if you can't be here with us in person tonight.
I'm definitely going to try and show up because, yeah, I love me some chickens, and I might buy some at the auction.
What day is is it tomorrow, the poultry show?
Yeah, the poultry show's tomorrow.
Poultry show's
Talk
tomorrow.
about what's coming up. Well, maybe we'll have to give Fiona the night off from theater and get somebody else there to do that so she can be here for the poultry show. Are you looking for a night off, Mackenzie?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, another really tough show here. We've got 4 kids out there really, really working hard to set their lambs up, trying to impress this judge, get them out there in our natural colored class, ranging from 119 to 147 pounds. Sheep market has been pretty solid the last couple years, so a lot of these kids are trying to get out there and figure out what it takes to put commercial lambs out there and make a profit.
I've actually never had lamb.
It is I'll tell you a lamb story here as soon as we get done talking to the judge here.
Really nice class of natural colors, and I think, we discussed right out of the gate that they're all built just a little bit different. But, the one we kept coming back to, the one that's the freshest.
AES has been going off on that computer, so I can log all the way out. I turn this off and turn them back on because they're using Firefox. So you just go watch it once in a while, see. I put a help desk ticket into AES to see what we can do there.
But it's their personal computer.
That one, I know. No, I mean, I got one for us. We refer
The one that comes out next in second, I think you studied this guy from the side. He balances really good. I think he's up fronted, he's level down in terms of his back. He's better structured than the 2 that round out this particular class. In relation to the one that beats him, if you're studying as an individual, you get over the top side of his skeleton. I like to open him up there in terms of his forearm and his body. I don't think he just packs a big enough punch when you get right behind this guy in terms of his muscularity. But that's a good structure, good pattern, one that still handles with some freshness and some touch. A big rat sheep that comes out next in the 3, and I think this one is really good there on the back side of the shoulder. I think one that's got some hip structure to him as well, and some pin width. he's a bit drier there in terms of his loin edge, maybe doesn't quite blend. And our biggest problem on this guy, when he got out and he moved, he probably would get a little higher there in terms of the lower part of his spine. And maybe doesn't quite use his sound those skills to in terms. That's one that's got some shaking, some muscularity. I think one that's got some nice pieces to him as well. Maybe just don't quite move his shoulders to there in front of you. The one that runs out this particular class is setting in terms of having a good load. I think this sheep patterns extremely well. He's talked about it. He's a very craft over his rib in his body. Not enough muscle. I think one of the maybe just reasons that fire in terms of his hip. A little more required in terms of the skeleton and sitting on the ground. For
Well, there you have it. That's what our judge is looking for again. Some really nice market lambs. You know, I like the way he talked about, not only is he looking at just structure, but he's watching the way they move. When you watch the way an animal moves, it does tell you a lot about what's underneath. So you can watch how they move and helps you on muscle structure. No, I'll tell you, Kenzie, we got into the sheep business by accident. So I'm a cattle guy and horse guy, and my wife told my dad one day, just shortly after we were married and had our own barn, he said, I don't know if I want cattle. He goes, but we might raise sheep someday. Well, about a week later, my dad showed up with 30 bred ewes and dumped them in our barn and said, you wanted to be in the sheep business, here you go.
Oh my gosh.
The next day on Christmas Eve, we had our first lamb. So we were in the sheep business for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So we did enjoy it a lot, especially when our kids were young. We don't have any sheep on the farm now. We're completely back to cattle and horses, but I enjoyed having the sheep around when our kids were young, and now hopefully we'll have a granddaughter here in the next year or two that we'll start picking up. Our oldest granddaughter will be 10, so we're interested to see if she wants to pick up a sheep and start showing it. So there you go. At least your grandpa doesn't deliver 30 ewes all ready to have babies, okay?
Yeah.
Well, there's a class of what we call Oxfords, okay? Kendall Crusher and Kirsten Haynes coming in there. Their sheep are 139 and 141, so only 2 pounds difference in these sheep. Now that sometimes makes it harder for our judge because they look a lot closer. So he's going to look for more conformation differences so that he can kind of figure out, do they have length of loin, do they have some depth, do they have some width across the back, do they both finish out about the same? They look like they do. I think the judge could call this particular class either way. I'm still going. I really like that Hampshire that led that Hampshire class earlier. So I think we still got a really, really great sheep there to lead off the show possibly. But there's some really, really, really good sheep coming across tonight. Of course, when we get done with this show today, we'll take a really, really short break, and we'll be bringing the showmanship show later on. So stick around, and then we're judging the kids then, you know. So then it's about, did you take care of your sheep, you take care of your lamb, okay? Fiona, why is it you don't show chickens? I'm just curious. I know you got a whole slew of them. Are we under 30 now or over?
We're still under.
Still under 30, okay.
Unless you give me those hens you're talking
Well,
about.
you know what? We did talk about that. We might come up with a deal there. They are really sweet, I'll tell you that. They're kind of down on their egg production right now. So, you know, I'll tell you that right up front.
I mean,
but
if you still want meat, I got plenty of roosters that need to be taken out.
That's the problem. There's always that rooster issue. You know, you're always hoping for nice hens to lay eggs, and you only need one rooster around.
Yeah. Well, we did try to get into 4-H, and when I did try, there was only specific hens you could use at that time, and I didn't have those hens.
Gotcha. Well, it is just like tonight. There's very specific breeds that are happening here. So, you know, now hopefully, normally you can register a breed and, you know, they will build a class for that breed. Like you saw earlier, there was one sheep in that particular class. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe in the future. There we go. He's calling him out, trying to get his competitor's attention right here. And there you go, 1 and 2. Well, now, you know, the other thing that this shit's just set up for us girls, so Kendall Crusher, Kirsten Haynes here, 62, is going to be at the top of the class. And she was at the top of another class earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So, you know, she's going to have a double chance to get in there, have somebody show it, and possibly get her lambs in there tonight into that grand drive.
Still a little better there in terms of his hip structure and the dimension he's got around his dog. And you get over on the side profile, I think he bounces just enough.
I think that one was hard because the one that got first place, the back legs looked thicker and better than the second place one, but the second place had long front legs.
Yeah, you know, so now you're trying to figure out conformation.
Got some lighting from that side of things. He's studying in terms of his structure. When he gets out and goes, he kind of wants to drop out of his front end. Maybe wants to get a little higher there in the middle part of his spine. As he goes away and he's studying there in terms of structure, I think he probably wants to push his top out just a little bit there in terms of genuine width and structure from behind. I think that's an awful good pair to still put our hands together.
Well, it was also a little tough there, too. Our second contestant had a harder time getting her sheep set up tonight. So as a judge, it's harder to get a look at it. So, you know, that's always tough then. You know, did you get it set up enough for the judge to really, really make some good comparisons? Kenzie, this next class only got one contestant in it. What can you tell us about the class?
This, I don't know how to say that one.
Rambouillet.
Rambouillet. Okay, well, this is Brennan McCartney. The sheep is 140 pounds.
That is a big sheep.
That is really.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he did a couple things already in the ring that I question a little bit, but I'll give this as pointer. You know, I like the sheep. You know he's going to win his class, so he doesn't have to work real hard. He's going to be back in the grand drive because he's got the only sheep. But, you know, coming into the ring there, he gave his sheep a smack on the butt, okay? And, boy, if he comes back in showmanship tonight, I'm going to remember that as the judge. Because I want to lead and I want to guide my animal in the ring, but I want to make sure I do that as gentle as I can in front of the judge. Now, he's got a really, really good-looking sheep here coming around her,
Yeah.
even though he's the only one in his class. Does really, really have some definition and some things happening on that are good. Maybe not finished quite as much as I'd like to see him finish, but good. We'll see what the judge says.
He looks really muscular.
You want me to switch it?
Well, there you go. He's punched his ticket to what we call the Grand Drive. So, you know, it's one of the, you know, we have a couple of different cattle herds. We raise red and black Angus, but we also have a herd of belted Galloways. One of the reasons we keep them around is, first of all, because we love them as a breed. But not many kids showing belted Galloways, so we hope that our kids that do buy steers from us and show them to a good at their county fairs and get a chance to punch a ticket into a Grand Drive. All right, well, we got another class of Shropshires coming in here. This is a class that goes way, way, way back here at the DeKalb County Fair. I mean, you know, 30 years ago, the Shippey family was showing a lot of Shropshires out there, and so I'm excited about that. What can you tell us about the class, Kens?
There's about a 40-pound difference between these two. We have Troy Wallace with a 126-pound, and then Kirsten Haynes back in again with a 161-pound.
So, you know, that 161-pound, you know, look at the length right there. A lot of length. And, you know, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It means an extra lamb chop. Well, you know, if lamb chops are $12 a pound and you can get an extra 2 of them out there, you just spend another $24 on that sheep. So you got some great length on that sheep. You got some great length of loin back, or leg in the back. So even though leg of lamb is going to look really nice. It's going to finish out nice. You're going to get them more there. So it might not seem like a lot, but let's say that leg of lamb's even got an extra half a pound in it. Well, multiply that by 10 sheep going to market, multiply that by $1.50 a pound, and all of a sudden you came home with an extra couple $100 in your pocket. So it really is big money depending on the conformation and what you can do.
It looks a lot rounder than the other one. Obviously, you won't tell if it's muscle or fat until you get your hands on it as the judge, but
well, and even then, but you're right, even then it's sometimes hard to hire. That's why we have a carcass show now. In the beef industry, you have a carcass show where they go to market after the fair, and then the judge picks the championship steer on the rack, we call it, so that he can take a look at the actual meat and say, okay, in the ring this one looked really good, but hanging up, this one looks the best. The other thing I think it's really interesting to point out, you know, you take a look at Haynes' sheep here. How many times have we seen her in the ring tonight? 3,
probably
4?
Maybe more than that. She had a few breeding too.
Well, let's
She's
listen
been
to what
since
the
the beginning.
judge says.
The one that comes out next in second is a practical sheep. I think one that offers some depth of rib
He's
to him.
talking.
Really good work on that side of things. He's opened up there in terms of his chest. Maybe just one that breathes a bit flatter. When he goes away, the fire there on the top side of his hip, and he just likes to stout and hum him up. And I think we're off to a good class. Congratulations.
Well, there you go. We heard some more from our judge right there about picking these lambs out. And I do think, I think that one of the biggest things for our 4-Hers to learn, you take a look at Haynes's and what we were saying right there. She keeps coming into the ring. Well, what we know for sure is that if you're going to go to the barn to feed one sheep, why not feed 6? And so she's given herself a chance to get out here tonight. And she's also going to sell these lambs on the market come Saturday morning. And she's going to get top dollar for her lambs. And she's going to sell one lamb in the auction and really get nice money.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about this next group? We got the South Downs coming in, another old breed of sheep. What can you tell us about them, Kenzie?
Oh, this is class 16 of the market lambs. We have Caden Brown, number 53. I think she's the furthest. Yeah. She has a 131 sheep. And then in the middle, Amelia Thrush, 135, so really close. And then Kendall Kresher with a 138. So this class is really close in weight.
When you take a look at them back, you take a look at length, you take a look at leg, all pretty close in this class, aren't they? Now, one thing I'll throw out, as the big breeders of sheep are becoming farther and farther in between, it's hard to say, but all 3 of these lambs could have been brought from the same farm.
Yeah.
I can remember a year in the Suffolk round that my wife and I had 3 out of the 5 lambs out there had been raised on our farm. And, when you look at that, you say, okay, well, we're going to win the class. Now, we didn't that year, just so you know. But, when you look at this, these lambs are really, really close. Genetically, they look very, very, very similar. Got our new Sky Cam going on. We talked about earlier, which we love, and trying to pick that up to give you some different views and some different shots of what's happening here at the DeKalb County 4-H Fair. We're thrilled that you're joining us. If you couldn't be here live with us tonight, we're glad you're tuning in. If you're watching this later on in the year, that's why we do it. So come January, you can take another look at the 4-H Fair and pick out something that you want to watch, like our championship sheep show tonight of all these kids that have worked so hard with the animals they've got. What are you predicting? Now, these are close, Kenzie. Fiona, you got a prediction on this one?
Not really. They all look the same to me. I mean, actually, the first girl, hers had a really lean back, like very long, very lean.
I think I'm going with the middle one. It looks like it has muscular legs compared to the first one over here. This boy over here, his back legs look really thin.
There you look. Now you're starting to sound like a judge, which is good. You're looking for those exact things. What sets one lamb apart from another.
Yeah.
As you guys know, we have a very, very enthusiastic and healthy FFA program at our school. And our kids learn all about judging. Some of them go on to judge at the Nationals. They go on to judge other places. And so learning those confirmation things and learning what's happening is really, really crucial to know what's going to happen.
I think 3 different.
I was right.
The one that wins this particular class, he's the freshest. I think he's the best. If there's anyone that is probably the best there in terms of his height. He handles the freshest and the truest there, and the squares there on the backside of his shoulder. Yet I think his neck sets up higher when you're setting up front in terms of balance. You maybe just like to open him up just a little bit there in terms of his hip structure. I think that's where the 1 and 2 is probably not the advantage. But I think there's some freshness and touch and tone. You can start better than the 1 and 2. The one that isn't 2, you set him on the outside. You think this sheep, does have some shape. And he definitely does. I think you go over the top side yourself and set him in terms of his body. He's got that. He's setting up the ground. He's got some foot, some shag to him, and I appreciate that. But probably just a bit plainer. Get your hands on him. He's about height of one mark. One that just gets a bit lengthy there in terms of his height and presentation. Maybe one you just like to harden him up just a little bit. But I think in terms of shape and foot size and bone, I think the one that definitely got some value. Just have to freshen this one up. The one that comes out in 3 probably is a little bit opposite of that. I think this is a leaner design one. I think you could have built one. I think one that shoulder sets into extremely good.
We didn't bring an extra tripod.
Okay.
saying, I think that, the sheep pattern is extremely good. Probably one you just like to scout him up there in terms of his bone work when he's studying on the ground. One that maybe you just like to open him up a little bit as you get in right behind this guy in terms of his muscularity. That's a lean, good touching one. Maybe just needs just an off on in terms of some muscle. But a really good class to put our hands together.
Well, there's your class of South Downs. Really good class. The judge is going to have a nice drive here. We'll find out what happens. The next class coming up here is the county-born market lambs. So lambs that had to be born in the county. This is a class that was started several years ago and makes people from the county have to compete each other as far as that goes.
All right, here they come. Beautiful, beautiful sheep coming in here.
Okay.
I like
Part
the
of
one
it,
with the
these
spots,
rechargeables,
but
I think, are not working at all anymore. Like, I think we charge them, but they're not lasting very long. So, what's in here, rechargeables or normals? And we just gave 2 batteries away, or I did. So, yeah, so now,
and again, this is class 17, county-born market lamb. We got Owen Brown with his weighing 109, Mason with his weighing 120, Troy Wallace with his weighing 124, Emmett Thrust with his weighing 129, got Bryce Page with his weighing 132, Cutter Klein with his weighing 144, and lastly Miles with his weighing 146.
there were loose batteries that were loose in the bottom from the other.
And there they go.
Is there 2 left? These rechargeables, I think, are just not.
Oh, and Slim got away from him. He is not happy.
Well, we got another nice group of lambs out here, man. These are all your county-born lambs. And obviously we got one that's got a mind of his own tonight. Okay. They'll get him caught here, and he's kind of being 4-H'ers helping out other 4-H'ers there. I really love to see that right there. These kids helping each other out, helping this young man get his sheep back in there and getting it ready. Judge getting down, our county born here, working their way. Much bigger group here. This is a nice class of our county born. Judge is taking his time out there, taking a look at him, trying to get it done. There he's starting to place him in his class. This is always the part that was toughest for me, sending a kid down to the bottom of the class when you got this much, because they've all worked really, really hard, been up, you know, early in the morning trying to get it all done with all their lambs. And but at some point you have to make a choice, and we might not be bringing you the pageant tonight. We'll see what happened with my intern here. Judge working his way up from the
The heaviest is 4th place. And Bryce Page
I think
with the weight of 132.
And types and kinds, and I think the one we gravitated to being is probably the one that just reads the best.
Those just came out of that mic.
Structure. I think
What about these?
He's really good on this side. He's sending from the side and on the go. He still stays up there and maintains a good chest formulation on back to his flank. You get your hands on him. I still think he's a fresh, good touch.
Those just came out of her mic.
Definitely one that offers some dimension.
Yeah, because I think they're dead.
In terms of his hip and on down through his back, just a nice one to win this particular class. Some differences among the rest.
I put a pack in here the other day. What happened to that plastic pack? Didn't you guys use it? The other day I put a brand new pack of batteries in before. And then you guys did some powder puff.
The one that comes out next in 3, getting right behind this guy, he's genuine in terms of having some stoutness and some muscularity. I think he's a good touching shape as well. He offers some curvature to his body shape. He's starting to know in terms of structure, and those top 3, he gets too straight, a bit shorter into his knee. He's a bit shorter and thicker up through his neck, and probably doesn't quite get out and go quite as functional as good off of his rear too. That's a stout, genuine one in terms of having some muscle shape. The other one that comes out next in 3, the remaining one, she's the next best touching one. We felt that she had the best there in terms of having some shape and dimension down her back. Still, I think one that has some genuine base look to it. In relation to the ones that beat her, she's probably just a good player in her overall look. You started to pick it up, she's a little more refined in terms of her structure. The little guy that comes out next, you go to the top side of the skeleton, he's actually got a pretty good body shape to him. He's got some shape there working in terms of his rack. He's pretty fresh there in his one. He probably wants to push outside himself just a little bit in terms of the structure. A little more refined in terms of his bone work. Maybe doesn't quite go where he wants to
there you go. There's your class of county born. So we're going to see how that goes. Clear down to the end. He got them all stacked out there like he won them. Those are your kind of. Now this next group is the commercial blackface lambs. So we're coming up here to our blackface commercial, and then we're going to be headed up into some more blackface commercial, but we're getting really close to our championships. Then they'll have some pair of lambs, and then later on we're going to be taking a break, but we'll bring you the showmanship show later on. So hang with us, and we're going to be bringing you just as the grand champion drive here in just a second. We've got the first class of blackface commercial, followed by another group of blackface commercial and some whiteface, and then we'll be headed into our grand champion group. Kids out here doing a great job setting their lambs up.
You're pointing at yourself.
Really nice class three. I think a nice safe place to go and start on this one. I think a sheep that's just probably the most farther along there in terms of maturity and having some handles himself extremely good. You get your hands on him. I thought he was the best section one in this particular class. Again, I think you get in right behind this guy, and he's got the advantage there in terms of hip, cycle, and park. He's the more opened up one. He's the one that.
Is this the way you had it picked, Fiona?
Actually, yeah.
Second, probably just has just a notch more on in terms of some shape. He's a little bolder there in terms of his hip, a little more rugged there in terms of base width and at the ground.
It was either between that really dark gray one or the one that he has up there that he picked.
And he just likes to drop it down there in terms of his rib. The blue sheep that rounds out this particular class, a firm, big touching sheep. This one that's got some freshness to him, just a bit too flat. You're setting in terms of muscle when you get him right behind him. He's a little more refined there in terms of his bone, but when you're setting up the ground, an awfully good pass to put our hands together.
Well, Reed Ford winning that class right there of our first group of commercial blackface lambs. Our blackface commercial coming in here again. And, of course, this class, again, I said this earlier tonight, I was a big Suffolk guy back when we were raising sheep. And I see so many of these black commercial face go back to those Suffolk lines that we had. That really good to have them. So, okay.
My grandpa almost got me 2 lambs.
Did he?
Yeah, he
You
did.
would have been in the sheep business.
I would have been.
All right, Mackenzie Taggart taking off with us tonight. Thanks, Mackenzie, for being here. You're headed down to cover the pageant tonight. Tune in later on, and sometime on the AES website, you'll be able to catch that, but she'll be getting that up for you. So good luck at the pageant tonight, Kenzie. Thanks for covering everything you did today. All right, another group of blackface commercial lambs here. Another field of 6 coming out here. The bottom of the class coming in at 140 pounds with Cutter Klein, number 102. Avery Fuller, number 80 at 143. Memphis Garmin, competitor number 258 with 145-pound lamb out there. Mason Moffler, number 35. She's got a 148-pound commercial blackface out there. Lillian Crusher, 151-pound lamb. And Miley Shippey, going to round out the class with a 167-pound, part of the Richland Cornhuskers. Going all the way back, big shout out to the Shippey family. They've been showing sheep in this county for over 40 years.
That is a big lamb for a little girl.
Really is. You know, it's really finished out. It's big. You know, you can see, again, as I said earlier, big does not mean best. You know, does it have what the judge needs? Definitely, you know, when you can finish one out like that, you're definitely at least going to have a chance to show it off. So there is a lot of pluses there. But sometimes you can over-finish, you know, and instead of building muscle, we're building fat. And the consumer's not interested in buying fat, and the packer's not interested in buying fat. They're interested in buying nice quality cuts of meat. So bigger does not always mean best. We'll see what our judge likes tonight. Really, really good looking. Even the youngest, lightest lambs in the class here, all the way down there at this 140-pound lamb that Cutler Klein is showing is a really nice lamb. All of these young showmen working really, really hard to show their sheep out here. Doing a really nice job trying to get their sheep set up.
Now, did you show sheep or did you just raise them?
No, we showed them also. My boys grew up showing sheep. And yeah, they. I think they would tell you they preferred showing their cattle and their horses over their sheep. Although I think my one son might tell you that he liked showing his rabbit best until the year that their sister got grand champion rabbit. And at the fair, when they got done, we make all of our kids do all of their finances, and our daughter made more on her rabbit than our sons did on their cattle. So they were like, Dad, we want to start showing more rabbits.
That's a lot for a rabbit too.
Yeah, no, it
cattle.
was a great year. A long 4-H story there that I'd love to tell, but sometime goes all the way back to the Carancha family. Really, really instrumental in doing so much for 4-H in our county. But they had helped our daughter in the rabbits and ended up with one of the Carancha rabbits that took her all the way to grand champion that year. And a big shout out. That was a story that will always reign in my heart as Katie, the rabbit queen that year, took our daughter under her wing to make sure she could show a good rabbit that year. So, but that's the spirit of 4-H. You know, like we saw earlier, that young man's lamb got loose in the ring, but those other 4-Hers helped catch him, helped slow him down so that he could go down there and get his lamb back under control. And that should be the spirit of 4-H. Even though you're competing against each other, you want to help build each other up so that you can have the very, very best projects possible.
Exactly.
There you go. Our judge has got him in all position. Let's hear what he has to say.
Top pair. I still think the one that wins this particular class needs to do so. You study there right when you get in behind him. That was our first view of him when we walked up, and this guy is super massive in terms of his hip, his lower part of his leg, and his stifle. Yet you get your hands on him. I still think one that handles himself pretty good there in terms of his rack. Pretty fresh, good hided sheet to win this particular class. I like that sheet. The one that comes out in second, I think, offers a good quality look. If you catch this ewe-lamb with her back down, she does handle herself pretty good in terms of her muscularity working out of her back. You set her at the ground. She's good there in terms of her structure. When she gets out and she goes, though, she does want to get a little insecure in her top line. She wants to pull her top out, drop her front end, and kind of roll out of her hip just a little bit. But that's an awful nice one to go ahead and be second. The one that comes out in third, you study this one in terms of structure at the ground. This one's genuine in terms of his face width. He's good there in terms of his body shape. Of the top three, though, a little plainer there in terms of his height. Maybe just not quite as exotic there in terms of his touch. Probably wants to get just a bit flatter there in terms of his cycle. When you view him from the side, that's a big-footed, good pattern, good design one. One that still gets out and floats around the ring. The one that comes out next, you get in behind this one, she probably got just a notch more in terms of her hip than the one that's in front of her. You study her from the side, though. She probably wants to get just a bit inverted there in terms of her balance and her look from the side. She wants to just drop out of her front end, get a little higher there in terms of her top, and wants to cut up just a bit there in terms of her front. The next two that come out, I think sheep are very practical through the rib and their body. They've got some extension. I think their shoulders set in where they need to be. A little more refined there in terms of their structure and their base width when you're setting out the ground. That's an awfully good class. Let's go and put our hands together.
Well, there you have it. You heard what our judge has to say about that group of black-faced commercial sheep right there. Now, that rounds out our black-faced commercial sheep, but just like every industry, there's been so much crossbreeding that we also have a group of white-faced commercial sheep. So, you know, we go back again to those heritage breeds, okay, and all of a sudden now you're going to have these white-faced commercial sheep, okay, so they qualify themselves, you know, they're coming in here. Only 3 in this class. Evie Garman, Amelia Thrush, and Paige Crusher again, with a class ranging from 112 on the bottom all the way up to 154 on the top. Well, I got ahead of the game right there, Fiona. They're coming back in here for the champion blackface commercial before we bring our white faces. You gave me that look. Yeah, these are not white face, as you can obviously see.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think they look white.
Yeah, no,
face.
so let me explain that. I glanced down at the sheet here, but since there was more than one class, we still have to come up with the champion of that particular breed. So these are the blackface commercial winners of their classes. Now they're competing to find out which one was the best commercial one to come back into that grand drive, and then we'll go out there. So this is the first and second place lamb from both of our commercial blackface classes, and then they'll be able to compete against each other, okay, here for the chance to go to the grand drive. And there you go. They're going to pick those out right there. They're going to go with the sheep that were just a little bit more finished, a little heavier sheep. They were able to come out here and show off what they had a little bit. And going to punch a ticket into the grand drive as the champion and grand champion there. Now, Fiona, according to our paperwork, okay, we should be taking a look at some white face commercial lambs, okay? They'll be coming in too. You know, thanks for joining us tonight for the DeKalb County Free 4-H Fair. We are thrilled that you're tuning in, and we hope that you come down and partake in the fair activities. Lots going on to come down and watch and take a look at. So we are excited about that. Really nice weather. It's been fairly cool. The weather took a time, but not so cold that you can not walk around and enjoy it. So come on down, enjoy DeKalb County. They like to call it America's largest family reunion. So we are thrilled if you stop by and take a look. Now this is our last class before the grand drive, to where we're going to pick out that championship sheep. And I'm going to be honest with you, Fiona, I still like that hamp that we saw way up at the beginning of the show. And I did like our commercial cross winner, so I think it's going to come down to one of those two. My only, humble opinion setting up here behind the camera. So here we go. Now we got this class of white-faced commercial sheep. Evelyn Garman, number 36, showing 112-pound lamb. Amelia Thrush, contestant 86, showing that number 145 out there. And our heaviest lamb in the class, Paige Crusher, coming in at 154. And boy, you can see the length of her right there. Judge gets his hands on her, taking a look at her.
She is not happy.
No, she can tell she did not want to be touched. She's probably been moody. She probably got ready 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. She's probably ready to go back to her pen, get some fresh sawdust, and get some fresh food and be done for the night.
I really like how they pose the sheep.
Well, you know, when they set a sheet up like that, they're trying to show off what the sheep has. So they want them to look longer. They want them to look taller. They want that back stretched out there, you know. So these kids do work really, really hard in their clubs about showing. They go to workshops. They try to take a look at, you know, different styles. They go to shows and try to figure out what's it look like to show a sheep and set a sheet up right so the judge can see what the good qualities are.
Especially if you don't set it up right, then the judges could miss something and then
It's
miss their
exactly
place.
right, Fiona, exactly right. Well, let's see what our judge has to say here.
I think a really good class. Some differences amongst them. I think, again, the one that's the best built, the one that I think is the most genuine in terms of her face width and her muscularity, is the young lady sheep that we start off with up front. This one, you study her on the go, good there in terms of her shoulder and her chest. I think the way this one blends down her top line is extremely good. Then you get in right behind them. She's the one that's the most opened up in terms of her back. She maintains that advantage into her loin and out to her hip. Then I think you said you're going away. She's the one that's the most genuine there in terms of her base width. Just a nice place to go ahead and start with this class. The one that comes out in second, you study this guy from the side. He is taller from it. He is a bit smoother and potentially there the way his shoulder sets into him. We kind of discussed that he needs to be opened up, open to the skeleton just a little more in relation to the one that beats you. Closes up just a little bit there in terms of his chest. Same goes as you study him going away, a little flatter on the top side of his hip. I just like to make him just a notch more genuine there. But that's a nice build one. I think one that handles himself pretty good there in terms of his structure. The one that rounds out this particular class, we love the muscularity. This one you're getting right behind it. This one's super robust there in terms of his hip and his stifle. Lays a lot of spread dimension down his back over a golden deep rib. Yet you study in this one though from the side. A bit rounded there in terms of its hip, a little rounded there in terms of his shoulder, and then you just like to make him a little stouter and more rugged there in terms of his bone. That's a good muscularity sheet. Off a good class. Let's go and put our hands together and congratulate him.
Well, there our judge made a little bit of a change of pace from what he's been doing all night. He picked the youngest lamb in the class. So we went with one that wasn't quite as finished, but the judge obviously saw some really, really good qualities and was really, really happy with what he saw. So I think that could bode well for, you know, later on in the grand drive. He's not just looking for the heaviest sheep. He's looking for the sheep that has the best conformation. it's off here. It's off here and off out there.
Yeah.
So we either go down, you know, just escape, reload, come back on.
Had a little break there, but now we're back for the champions.
So this is what we call the grand drive, Fiona. So you've got every lamb out here that won the market class. So, and if they won their market class, they get a chance to come back into what we call the grand drive. And when they come back into the grand drive, they're able to compete for that grand championship. So all these kids are thrilled that they made the grand drive. Now, Fiona, tell me which sheep you think you're going to be picking out.
That's a really hard choice right now. I think probably the third one. That girl has been showing some really good ones, or 62. But there's even more coming in, so I don't even know right now.
Well, there's a lot of them, isn't
Yeah.
there? This is another one of those examples where now we talked about earlier in showmanship, and while this is not the showmanship class, this is right now showmanship time. Because if you've got to get your lamb set up here, because that judge has got a lot of sheep out there, and his eyes may only hit your sheep 2 or 3 times at the beginning of this drive. So you've got to make sure that you've got your sheep set up so when the judge takes a look, he knows it. Now, I always remember something from a previous round. I know what sheep I'm looking for. I remember the winner of a class. When they're coming out there, you take a look at that and you remember that. But what did I miss the first time? What am I seeing the second time? He's working his way down and he said, oh yeah, I remember that sheep. I'm going to go through there and I'm going to take a look at it again. Because now he's comparing different breeds, okay, and that becomes more difficult because every breed has certain characteristics that are positive, but which one carries enough positive to rise to be the grand champion sheep? For a lot of these kids, this is the end of a 5-month project. You know, a sheep project is not super short. You get it as a lamb, you feed it down. Now, some of the kids have had shorter ones, but they had to have it checked in by a certain date. And they've been working with this sheep and trying to get it ready for the DeKalb County 4-H fair here. What a great class we've got out there tonight for our grand drive.
Is it ever hard to let go because, you know, you got that bond with these animals?
Well, I told you earlier about my daughter getting her grand champion rabbit. At the auction, she sold it, and she was bawling so hard that the guy that bought it came up and gave it back to her.
Aww.
And, of course, the rabbit lived with us for the next 3 years, and finally the rabbit died. But, yeah, so it's hard, you know. Now, I think, you know, most 4-Hers understand that it's a business we're raising. We're trying to understand that, you know, what we're doing is providing a market product. When you go to the grocery store, somebody had to raise that. And so most of our 4-Hers understand that, you know, hey, this is part of the project, getting it from start to finish, especially in this particular class. These are our market lambs.
Yeah.
Kids knew they were raising these lambs to go to market. You know, they're wethers. There are no rams out there. These particular market wethers are going, you know, there's no other purpose. They're not breeding stock. They are all males that have been fixed so that they cannot, you know, propagate and continue their breeding line. So their purpose is to go to market. So most of these kids now, when you're coming out here and showing those breeding ewes that we saw earlier in the earlier show today, a lot of those kids get attached to those sheep and they'll continue to raise them. I have a good friend of mine that still raises sheep, Holly Kubzak. Big shout out to you if you're listening. But she still has sheep that are offspring of what she showed when she was in high school, and she's been out of high school, I'm going to say probably 10 years.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah, you get attached and you hang on to them. Kids working really, really hard here trying to have their animals set up, ready to go.
For a judge, it must be really hard having all these to choose from.
Well, and again, you know, it comes down, this is where a lot of people have to remember that every judge, I don't care who you are, you try to set your biases aside, but there are personal preferences. What kind of sheep do you like? Again, you know, I raised Suffolks back when I was raising a lot of sheep, and when we were raising Suffolk sheep, I tended to prefer those long sheep, lots of lamb chops, nice leg of lamb. But that breed's evolved and has become something else. But as a judge, you try to set your biases aside so that you can pick out the best lamb out there. What's going to be the best market lamb out there? And it is hard, you know, because every single kid out there has worked really, really, really hard. Our judge tonight has his niece with him in the ring.
I saw that.
And I like that for two reasons. First of all, you got somebody out there that's kind of helping you, almost like an assistant ring steward. But I also like the fact that you're passing on that love of judging to the next generation. And that's the key. What we're trying to do, you know, a lot of 4-H is to remind people that, you know, there's a lot of hardworking farmers out there and a lot of hardworking people in the animal and agricultural industry to keep our food chain safe and keep our food chain to where we have plenty. And that takes this generation, the next generation. We always see that in the 4-H room with kids showing, but now we have the judge who's got his niece hanging out tonight. So that's really cool that we have the ability to have someone out there watching and learning and being able to pass on those talents.
And it definitely takes a lot of experience too.
There's no doubt that the more you watch and the more you show and the more you see, yeah, I think the more experiences you have, the better job you do when it comes down to actually judging and trying to pick those sheep out. Well, he's got going to the mic.
Let's not put our hands together for our market managers. And I know we got some showmanship and we're looking forward to that. But you know, we want to say thank you for giving us this opportunity to come here and evaluate good livestock. We've seen a lot of good ones today, some big tough decisions, and there's a lot of decisions when you come back out here and Grand Drive. And you know, I always joke and tell people when you travel north, you know, you're going to see really good livestock in the state of Indiana. I think that definitely holds true here with your guys' county show. And you know, there's a lot of things, you know, an evaluator can get on the microphone and say, and I'm not paid for long-winded speeches and things like that, or trying to get inspiration to get done, you know, but I was listening to a quick podcast on the way up here, and, you know, they were talking about, you know, what you do either before to prepare yourself for these events, or what you do when you handle that up and you get done. And whatever you do, especially if you are, you know, ending your career, you know, find a way to stay active in this organization. You know, it's a family thing. You know, Bristol and I love going to shows together and evaluating, you know, the coaching and showing together. And, you know, one day, you know, we'll be helping coach a couple of my boys. You know, they're getting all their showing one day, you know, so it's a family thing, whether it's family by blood or family by friends. And I think we all can agree that, you know, this industry definitely does that and it teaches us so much. So I think there's been a lot of nice ones today, you know, like we said, some really nice ones all through the line, you know, some differences in terms of breeds and things along those lines. You know, I think it comes down to a select few, but, you know, we're pretty unanimous on the tonight, you know, outlier in terms of his muscularity, back shape, freshness, and touch, and things along those lines. So we're going to get you a top 5. We're going to kind of work through them. You know, there's a couple on the more out that need to get a spot. We're going to kind of look at a couple others for top 5, but we're looking forward to showmanship. I think one more time, let's put our hands together for these kids.
Well, there you go. It sounds like our judge is going to try to get down to a group of 5 where he can really take a look at him. But we'll see what he does, if he's going to go ahead and place him in order right now. Again, we're at the mercy of the judge right now. He could dismiss members of the class and keep 5 out here and then make his decision. He could stack them up right now, 5th place, 4th place, right on up to number 1. There you go. They just went ahead and picked it right there. When you shake a hand like that, you just called your grand champion. And there it is. You have to love it when that happens. Okay, Lillian Crusher right there. Lily Crusher taking away the grand champion Market Lamb. Well, there you go. Paige Crusher walking right down there to take a spot by her sister. I guess what tells you there must be doing something right at home, right? Haynes is coming down there with the next 3rd place sheep. Looking for the 2 more. They're looking for a 4th place and a 5th place. Well, there you go. The Crusher people coming away with number 1 and number 2 today. Congratulations to those sisters, doing a great job exhibiting their grand champion and reserve grand champion. I wonder, you know, they'll be fighting over who puts the trophy where tonight. We'll see, okay? But at least they're taking home both trophies. I guess they can set them both on the kitchen table if they need to.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is our grand champion drive for our market sheep here today. We're so glad you joined us here on BTV, and we look forward to bringing you more efforts from the DeKalb County Fair, and we look forward to more. Now, there is more action tonight, even though this show's stopping. They're going to be bringing out some pairs here in a second, so you can stay tuned if you want to watch the pairs. They're also going to be starting up showmanship tonight, so our sheep showmanship will be happening, and we can't wait to bring that to you also. So stick around, and we'll have more action for you. But thanks for joining us this year for the DeKalb County 2024 Sheep Show.